Welcome back to Tresvino's Adventures, and today we're looking at one of the 1,500 volcanoes on this earth. It is in the Ring of Fire, Pacific Ring of Fire, in the Ecuador section by the Pacific, only 2 hours from Quito. As you can see here, we have the Cuicocha Lake crater. It's overshadowed by the much larger Cotacachi volcano, which is a lot bigger, but you can see it in the foreground. It is beautiful. You can see Theodore Wolf there in the foreground, and then Cotacachi in the background. Just an extremely beautiful sight to see. We were all excited and getting ready to go for a boat ride around the smaller of the two islands, or around both of the islands, I should say. So sit back and enjoy. It is believed that indigenous people use this place to do different rituals to honor their gods. That's why the Ecuadorian government, along with local communities, decided to rehabilitate different sites to showcase how it was before. One of the most famous legends was that for every newborn child, indigenous people would place a guinea pig in one of the islands. After this, a legend grew saying that if you're lucky enough to be the first person to see a golden-furred guinea pig, you'll be rich. But if you're the second one, you'll be transferred into a crepe, which there's many of them swimming in the lake, and we have described them before. So don't be a crepe swimming in the lake, always be first. Let's take into account that inside the two islands in the lake we have a very wide variety of life, including plants, animals, and birds. Cuicocha was the son of the old Ruco Pinchincha and Maria Isabel Nieves Cotacachi. One day, both were separated, and the father decided to take their son, Guacua Pichincha, which is the summit next to Pichincha volcano, to the surroundings of Quito, where the sun used to be. Only an empty hole remained, transforming later into Cuicocha Lake, formed by the tears of the crying mother. Next to Cuicocha Lake, there's the almighty Cotacachi Volcano, where the legend says that one of the flanks there's a human face looking straight where Cotacachi's sun used to be. In geophysics, scientists say that a volcanic eruption took place as soon as about 3,000 years ago. And from this destruction, the lake was formed. But even when we think Cuicocha is just a lake, we're certainly wrong. The volcanic crater is also a time bomb. Scientists have been trying to figure out when it's going to be active again and most likely erupt. But these calculations are not casual, and a lot depends on nature, which we don't fully yet understand. Several years ago, Oxford University declared Imbabura province a red zone, given Cuicocha is among the 10 most dangerous volcanoes in the country. Cuicocha itself generates at least 100 volcanic movements per day. This kind of activity is a serious threat to the country, given that it is expected when the volcano erupts, a domino effect will take place, setting off other volcanoes, Imbabura, Yanajurco, and Cajas volcanoes, active again and ready to erupt. Although it's scary, the probabilities of dying from a volcano eruption are very low compared to other human-related threats like crime, air traffic accidents, or car accidents. So we're fairly safe. Cuicocha Lake is a crater lake within the Cuicocha Caldera, which contains 4 domes that support the 2 smaller islands. The smallest of the island is Hierro V, which is the smaller, and Theodore Wolf is the larger. People are prohibited on both of these islands. The intra-caldera islands, on the other hand, support some wildlife, most notably the silvery crate, which lives around the reeds and feeds on small fish, frogs, crayfish, and small water snakes, seeds of water plants and insects. And in this case, it must be eating a lot of aquatic seeds because there's supposed to be no fish in this lake. It's very alkaline. Cuicocha forms the southern end of the Cotacachi Cayapas Ecological Reserve. During the second day of the Inti Ramni, or Sun Festival, held every summer solstice, indigenous shamans use Cuicocha as a bath for ritual cleansing and purification. More on this later. In respect of it being a volcanic complex with spectacular 3-kilometer wide active volcano caldera with many documented records of violent historic eruptions, the International Union of Geological Sciences, also known as the IUGS, included the Cotacachi Cuicocha Volcanic Complex in its assemblage of 100 geological heritage sites around the world in a listing published in October 2022. The organization defines an IUGS geological heritage site as a key place with geological elements and or processes of international scientific relevance used as a reference and or with a substantial contribution to the development of geological sciences through history. So it is active and it might go off any second now, just like the one in Yellowstone National Park. It is best known as God's Lake or Cui Lake. Cui also means guinea pig. As its definition in Quechua suggests, Cuicocha is a volcanic crater lake located in the north of Ecuador, just 2 hours away from capital Quito. The crater lake is famous for its remarkable landscape, its very unique rituals, a powerful legend story, and a time bomb threat, which we'll try to cover a little bit of each. But fear not, the truth is Ecuador is full of time bomb threats. Quilotoa, another volcanic crater lake, is also believed to be active, and no one really knows when it's going to explode. Cotopaxi, one of the highest active volcanoes on Earth, is under constant activity and a real threat to Ecuador's capital. There's also a recent investigation on a mega volcano called Chalupas, really close to Cotopaxi volcano, and a real threat for all planet Earth. Although the possibilities are only 6% of reactivation for this century, it is believed that in the case of going active, it would erase all human life from Ecuador. Let me share with you some of the most recent volcanoes that have erupted in the last 20 years in Ecuador alone. We have Cerro Azul in 2008, Cotopaxi in 2023, just last year, Ferdanina in 2024 this year, Sierra Negra in 2018, Reventador finally busted there, 2024, Sangay in 2024, all of this year. Didn't hear about that one. Let me try that again. Tangurahua in 2016, and Wolf, which is in the Galapagos Islands that we just finished visiting 3 weeks ago now, erupted in 2022. Other volcanoes known to have erupted were, this is still in Ecuador, Alcedo in 1993, Aliso in 2050 BC, Antisana in 1802 CE, Altacaso in 320 BC, Cayambe in 1786. Wow. Chacana in 1773. Chimbiro in 3740. Chile, Cerro Negro in 1936, but it was still partially in Ecuador. Chimborazo in 550 CE. Cuicocha Lake crater, which is what we're seeing here, was in 650 CE. Darwin, 1813 CE. Ecuador, 1150 CE. Galapagos Rift in 1996. Genovesa, it's unknown, but there is evidence that it did erupt. Same thing with Linisa, it's unknown, but it did erupt. Imbabura, 5550 BC. Licto, it did erupt, but unknown what year. Marcena, 1991 CE. Mohanda, unknown evidence when it erupted. Pinta in 1928. Pululahua. Let me try that again. Pululahua, 290 CE. Quilotoa in 1280 CE. Reventador in 2024 CE. San Cristobal, which was the exact island we were on at the Galapagos. There is evidence it erupted, and you can see all the lava rock around the island, as you'll see in the videos, but it's unknown when it happened. San Gay, we said already, 2024. Santa Cruz, unknown evidence. Santiago, 1906. Sochi in 6650 BC. Sumaco, 1895. Tangurahua, 2016. I said that one already. So you can see there is a lot of volcanic activity in Ecuador, as well as Peru, South America, or any of the other continents around the Ring of Fire that we mentioned. Like I said, there's 1,500 volcanoes in the entire world, of 500 of which, nearly 500, are within the Ring of Fire, which includes parts of California. I did mention Yellowstone National Park. So there are active, but I believe I read somewhere that only 1,000 or so volcanoes erupt every 10,000 years. So there's a long wait period before the firecracker finally goes off. What was interesting that I read about that tsunami that happened in one of the mountains close to Quito, where tons of ice were blown up by the eruption, and the ice, some of those, ice from the glaciers, and some of it evaporated quite quickly due to the eruption and the heat, and it caused a tsunami, which killed a lot of people. So it's amazing how this eruption is not only going to spew out half molten rocks and lava like cannonballs coming at you, but you also have the threat of tsunami, mudslides, earthquakes. So I wouldn't want to be caught in one. Highly interested in volcanoes, but I surely don't want to get too close to some of these. Thank you for viewing Tras Vinos Adventures and return for more.